welcome to the first ever Everywhere We Go Kiddy Massive podcast. I'm hoping this will be a regular thing with various members of the Harriers squad, former players, former managers, and hopefully it'll be a great success. And I'm delighted to say that our first guest on the first ever one is Russ Penn, current manager of Kidderminster Harriers, doing a brilliant job. No truth in the rumour Jimmy O'Connor wasn't available tonight, Russ. Thank you for doing this. When I put this out that you were going to do it, I think lots of people had got a few questions, but the first thing they wanted me to say was thank you for the season. Thank you for bringing the club back to the fans, I think, and so many messages along with thank you saying just how much they are enjoying going back to Agborough again. So how do you respond to that?
First and foremost, thanks for having me on. I know this has been in the pipeline for a bit, and we've had this lined up for a couple of months now. What I will say, I spoke to you in COVID, and you talked about how we can make this club or get this club back on the map. And I think we said about bringing everybody together. Of course, results bring everybody together, but I think that was always in my line, and my main objective was to bring the fans together. Did I expect it to be as big as it is now? No. But it just shows you how far this club can go. I
was going to say, has it exceeded all your expectations?
It has and it hasn't. I think, listen, I hear new facts every day, and it's brilliant to hear. You know, we're looking at the fans coming in, and we're getting over 3,000 on Tuesday nights. You know, not just for Hereford, but for Boston, and you know, we've sold the place out 4 or 5 times this season. You know, these are what we dream of. But on the side, you know, we're also getting results as well. It's horrible for me to come on here after we lost the bottom of the league.
Yeah.
You know, Saturday just gone. But you know what? It makes it a little bit more real, doesn't it? And I haven't slept for 3 nights, and now we're travelling to the top of the league away. So that's football for you.
Yeah. Are you seeing that response? Is there that sort of that real appetite to put things right on the training ground?
For sure. Listen, nothing changes our way. We prepared as always for Farsley. I'm not one for excuses, but there were a few last Saturday, and we'll prepare as normal for Gateshead. This when you do lose, which has been rare for us this season, it gives you that edge, and it makes you concentrate a little bit more and kind of that work a little bit harder. Listen, me and Jimmy have worked round the clock for the last 18 months, and hopefully we're getting our rewards from that this season. But listen, it's never nice to lose, but we're all real at the end of the day.
Yeah, I've refused to watch the highlights. I didn't want to spoil my night. I sort of seen them come up on the YouTube channel. I'm thinking, do I really want to watch it? I kind of I'm sure that you're the same to a degree. You just want to park it and move on.
I think the form we've been on in the past 6 months, 4 months to 5 months, it's been nothing short of amazing, really. And I think you hit little blips. And if there was ever a game to lose, it was that last Saturday, because it wasn't really a conducive football match, to be honest, if you know what I mean. And if we were to lose a game in that style, then so be it. And we park it, we forget about it. I've said to the lads, we've only lost 1 point because we didn't deserve the 3. We didn't deserve to lose, but we've only lost 1 point. And what does 1 point get you at the end of the season? So, you know, we'll move on and park it aside and move on.
One of the things that I think everybody has loved this season, apart from the sort of the style of football, is the spirit that's in the camp. I know when we spoke to you during COVID, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what is behind the sort of the spirit that's in the camp now? Is this down to the players that you've brought in, or is it just happened naturally? Were you expecting it to be as it is, as good as it is?
Okay, first and foremost, you've got to win football matches, which we have done. But then on top of that, you've got to be approachable as a football club. I see so many football clubs now and football players who want to be footballers, but without having that feel, that community feel, and relating to fans. It's all about them. Because listen, Nick, footballers are very selfish. I've been one myself. It's all about you and what you do. Earn as much money as you can in a short period of time. And by the time you finish your career, you think, God, I haven't enjoyed that career anyway. I haven't had a place to go back to. I haven't enjoyed a football club. I've just potted around and gone from here to there. So getting on board with the fans straight away has been massive. You know, that's what we tried to do 18 months ago without the crowds, and we've got the crowds in now. Like I said, being approachable, having an owner who is honest and a realist. Does it help with me being a former player? Possibly, but I've still had to back that up with results. And I just think, we recruited really well last year. We're not recruited, we kept the majority of players on. So fans had a team to relate to. And I think everyone was saying in the summer, this is the first time ever we've had 14, 15 players signed before we went back to pre-season. I think that's helped. So now fans can relate to their own players. They can relate to Sam Austin as the captain, Lewis Montrose as the captain, Keith Lowe as a club legend. And it's not every year we're turning over 15 players all the time. Because you look at the teams that have gone up, your Harriers, your Foyles, your Stockports, they've been together a long time. And other teams that have been successful, Chorley, Brackley, they've been together for 4 or 5 years. And, of course, we always want to make it better. And if there's any player that's better than what we've got, we'll try and get him in. But overall, team spirit's massive.
So when you recruit, then what boxes are you looking to tick? Do you have a set list, maybe, or is it, I don't know, what do you just get a feel?
I like to think I've got a good eye for what we want. What is the specifics? Well, I won't tell you that because that's in my
trade secret.
Well, it is, yeah. But I think I've got a good eye for the level first and foremost. So we've got to be realistic. We've got a really good model at our place. Yes, we're full time, which a lot of clubs think is a big advantage. Yes, it is because we're fitter. But I tell you what, we are probably 8th or 9th in terms of budget in our league, and you've got a lot of part-time teams who pay more than us. So does full-time mean you've got a better chance to go up? No, it doesn't. So you've got the full-time status, you've got the model of who wants to come to your football club for that amount of money. And the model is always young lads who are coming out the pro game. So you're under 18s, under 23s, who you'll give another chance to, dropped off the ladder, want to get back on it. Good pros like your Sammy Austin, your Caleb Richards, who want to use us as a stepping stone, get the games and the belts, and then go into the Football League, which no doubt they will. And then you've got the old guard, which you seem to have a lot of this year, who are 30, 31 and more, who want to finish the career off at a very good football club with good crowds, who could see themselves playing for another 2-3 years.
And scouting wise, I mean, how much of the recruitment in terms of identifying talent is down to you and Jimmy? I imagine obviously the vast majority of it is, but how much do you maybe not rely on, but maybe a tip off here and there about a potential new face?
Well, we've got a scout who never gets talked about at the football club, but he's a massive part of our staff. His name's Pete Winham. Now, he's been around. He's worked for Fergie, Bobby Robson, Keegan, and he's doing it for a favour for me. Yes, we pay him on a match day situation, but he goes to 2 games a week at our level. To coincide with my energy and my process and Jimmy's, we've got a really good recruitment policy there. And contacts as well. I'm one of these who haven't fell out with a lot of people in football, never burn my bridges. And managers talk, and we talk a lot. And whether you believe it or not, I talk to managers on who they played last, going into our next games, and they always give honest feedback because there's only one of us, and we all look after each other. Not everyone, by the way. There's some who I don't talk to me, but majority, yes, they do.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pretty much every single Harriers fan that I know has been so impressed with the recruitment that you've done since you've come in. I can't think. I mean, to be polite, I can't think of any duds, so to speak. So, how pleased are you with what you've brought in, both in terms of ability and attitude, and just embracing the culture of the club?
Well, I think that's it. The culture is the main one. Listen, we've had luck on the way as well. Some of our players too good for the level, possibly, but they're here for a reason. I think the COVID situation up and down the land has helped us land a few players in terms of how small squads are in the league now, and them extra 2, 3, 4 players have been filtered down. So I think that's a massive advantage we've had. But also, and this is great credit to Richard, is how well the place looks and how much improvement we're doing on the place now. So I think the stadium looks good, and there's more to come, by the way. The pitch is always in good nick, obviously, with our relationship with Wolves. The changing rooms, which you don't understand, but players love, they've been, decorated and done up. The training ground is league level. It's things like that which saves you £100 to £200 a week, because, yeah, they could earn £100 to £200 a week more 2 hours away, but you come into a full-time environment that acts like a league football club. And I think when you add all them together, it ticks a lot of boxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you talk about the culture. I was watching Wes's interview with Luke yesterday, and they talked about the sort of the car sharing, the carpool. Obviously, he's in Manchester, isn't he? Cara's in Manchester as well. I think I saw ahead of the West Ham game, I was reading Gerardo Bajrami's interview talking about how they all come in from the Birmingham area as well. So that must be a big pull as well, because driving to and from Manchester every day has got to. I mean, I drive from Manchester to Leeds, or from Leeds to Manchester every day, and you know, at times that really does, you know, really annoy me at times. But for the likes of Luke and everybody else to come down and do it every day shows the spirit, I suppose, that they're, you know, they enjoy it. They can't wait to come down. They can't wait the next day, that sort of thing. It just an example of how strong the spirit is that you know, players are willing to drive those 100+ miles every day.
Well, you're right. Yeah, I'll tell you something that most people might not know, but for clubs at our level, you probably try and recruit locally. So 50 miles radius, you know, so people can drive to and from. Now, we provide accommodation. We've got a player's house that we rent, and I sacrificed a player this season for that, so we can kind of broaden our horizon a little bit and go for the bigger players. So these Manchester crew, we've got the 4 or 5, your Montes, your Redmonds, your Carras, your Simos, your Niall Bells, Caleb Richards. They can stay down in this house all week if they want to, and that's, you know, I think that's a big plus. So yes, we probably lost out on a player for that, but also if that can bring you in those types of players, which we haven't got or in the area, or Kiddy can't sign everyone in that area, then great. So I think we've hit the nail on the head with that one, really. I think having the house and sacrifice the player has worked well for us. And
does that grow the reputation of the club in the game as well? I know whenever we hear sort of player interviews, the phrase always is, as soon as I heard of Kidderminster's interest, I was really keen to come.
Yeah, well, it's also for loans as well, Nick. So when you're approaching loans from the Premier League Championships, the first thing they always ask for, have you got accommodation for the player? And when you say yes, it straight away, you full-time got accommodation. It's near enough. So I think it's a great plus. Listen, we're not the only club who does it. There's others, and it's probably got to happen a lot more times now. So I think it's a great plus. But yeah, we tick a lot of boxes in that aspect. Like I said, we don't pay millions and millions, but we have got the right things, and we run right.
Are you enjoying it? This is your first season, I suppose, isn't it? I know we have all the COVID restrictions and everything else that put paid to when he took over from Jimmy initially, and then obviously the season that got null and voided. I mean, are you enjoying it? Is it everything you expected it to be? Tougher, easier?
Probably, I'd say tougher. Listen, I love winning. I love winning football games, and I love what we do for the football club at the moment, and seeing where we can potentially grow on and off the field. Got a fantastic owner who is very enthusiastic at the moment, and he mirrors what I want and Jimmy wants. Yeah, it's hard work. It really is. And people say, "Oh, I'd love to be a football manager." You do, but I have a lot of sacrifices to the family and stuff like that. And if I want to do it how I want to do it and run it how I want to run it, it takes hard work. I.e., Tuesday night going to Files when I didn't have to, and sacrificing 8 hours, not picking the kids up from school and putting them to bed, and that just to watch a game that we're playing in 2 weeks' time. But I like to think you get your rewards in football. We don't just go up there to tick boxes because no one cares where we go. We do it for the right reasons. So it is hard, and managing staff, and that's been my hardest thing off the training ground, really. Managing, I wouldn't say the football club, I wouldn't say I'm a saint or whatever, but I like to. Richard's put a lot of trust in me and Jimmy to run not just the playing side, but the culture of the football club. So how we talk to people around the place and how approachable we are. And I think if everyone can mirror what we're all doing at the moment, it's only going one way.
How not how tough, but how difficult is it to juggle the work-life balance? Because as you say, you got, you're a dad, you're a husband, you've got a life outside work, but as you say, you've got to put in the effort to get the rewards as well.
Yeah, fortunately, my wife's seen it all. She's come up and down the country with me. So the good thing for us now is that we're at home, and we've got lots of family around us. So it's a lot more softer than when we were living in York and we were on our own as a four. When I stayed away for 2 nights, that was it. They were on their own. But so it's a lot easier now. The kids are a lot older, so it's one of them. But it's still, your energy, especially when you've won, you want to work harder and you do more things and you want to be better. How do I make myself better? That's the thing we've missed out on in the last 2 years with COVID is improving ourselves, me and Jim, because of the contacts we've got in the game. Lots of managers in the Premier League and Championship asking us to mirror them and stuff. We haven't been able to do that really. So it's things like that we're looking forward to in the near future.
Yeah, one of the questions that came in actually was obviously when COVID hit and the season was null and void. It was such a long gap, wasn't it, between the season stopping and then the season getting underway back in August again. So what did you do during that time? And do you think what you did then has sort of benefited you now, both as a manager and sort of where the club are and the players are?
Yeah, I'll tell you what we did do, Nick. We worked bloody hard, mate. And one, because I can't just sit around. And two, we were really proactive. So in that time, we decorate the changing rooms with good favours from good people, your Frankie Del Vecchios and all these people. The training ground had a lick of paint. Everywhere got souped up. So when the players returned, it was like, whoa, I like this. This is good. And then on the other side, it was nailing budgets, objectives for the season, good board meetings, and how we can really improve the club off the field more than anything. Because on the field, I was always confident what we could do. But you've got to have a structure off the field as well, which I finally think we have.
Yeah, it sort of sets things up, as you say, when players come in, even the players who are already contracted, if they're going, wow, the new faces that you want in are going to do that as well, aren't they?
Yeah, and we still ran it like a full-time club, even though we were off for 4 months. All the contracted players, they had fitness programs. We were having quiz calls. We were doing something different. We were having special guests in for talks over Zoom. Very surreal couple of months that was for everybody, but also very energising. And because we were still classed as elites, we could get in every now and then and do little bits and bobs. So from a mental point of view, I did become a mental welfare manager. I'm not joking there.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
From a mental point of view, it was very good. And we were all listening to each other talking, and it was very good for the footballers. And I think they've really appreciated that going forward in the last 12 months.
Yeah, do you think that's almost paid it forward as well? That's got to help for the spirit as well, because you could have not had too much contact with the players, could you? You could have done your own thing and let them get on, do what they needed to do, sort of thing. But to have that close contact throughout COVID, that sort of reaped benefits, I suppose, spirit-wise as well.
Yeah, I think so. And the owner was very straight as well. Listen, there's no hiding the fact that everyone in football was on furlough, and they're hard conversations and they're not easy to accept. But we did it the right way as a football club. And when we come out of furlough and out of COVID and whatever, it was done properly. And the players have paid the club back in terms of performances and results and contributing to the community. And Rich has paid them back in terms of how he's looked after them with the FA Cup and bits and bobs like that. So, hand in hand, everyone's got a lot of respect for each other.
Yeah, I was going to say when COVID hits, it's about health, obviously, but it's about finances as well, isn't it? So the pressure's then on the owner, isn't it, Richard Lane, to keep the club afloat. Just a word on the job that he and the staff behind the scenes have done during that period.
For sure, and they worked incredibly hard as well. Listen, I've said to Richard recently, I said, look, you've got ambition, I've got ambition in our careers. You want to improve the place, but I want you to improve the place while we're here, because that's what keeps my mojo up. I want to see improvement. So I want to see the pitch in top nick. I want to see the stadium painted and the seats done and everything tidy. And we've got stadium manager now, which is great, and everything looks bob on. Getting new floodlights, it's things like that where you think, I like that. And the FA Cup money is not going to waste. It's not going in a bank. It's going to be put back in the football club. And listen, I'll always keep peppering him and asking for more budget and this and all that. And he can only say no to me. He hasn't yet, to be fair to him, but he will one day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how is that relationship? Because you sort of, certainly at the top flight, you read about strained relationships between managers and owners and that sort of thing. I think because he is from the area, he's got that connection with the club already anyway, and you obviously seem to get on with him very well as well. It seems a good relationship. It seems a proactive relationship, and it seems a two-way street as well.
So far, so good. So listen, I know how football can turn. Under no illusion what can happen in the future, but why even worry about that when there's nowhere near that at the moment. It's very open. He'll say it how it is. Sometimes I don't agree with what he says. He won't agree with what I say. But as long as you're honest and open and true, I'm not a yes man who says, yes, Richard, I'll do this for you and all that, because that'll get me nowhere. And he respects the way I am, and I think it works really well. We're realistic. That's the big thing. And when he gives me a budget, I will stand by that budget. Yes, we've had the FA Cup run, and yes, he's opened the purse strings a little bit here and there for your Matty Prestons and your Elliot Bonds and bits like that. But apart from that, we're doing it like a business still, and it's down to me to do some wheeling and dealing in other sides and keep the club afloat, really.
Is this in many ways almost the perfect first job for you? I was thinking about this earlier, that former player, you know the club inside out. You come back, you finish your playing career with us, and it not fell into your lap. I don't know whether that's the right phrase or not, but circumstances have worked in your favour as well, in the terms of obviously John Pemberton going, then Jimmy went off to Solihull. You were in the right place at the right time, and you've done a brilliant job ever since. It seems like it's just been the perfect fit.
Yeah, I think there's luck in every time you get a job, to be honest. So yeah, I've got luck in the aspect of Colin Gordon gave me the assistant manager's job under John Pemberton. Colin Gordon brought me back to the football club when I wasn't playing at York. Within 2-3 months, it was my biggest regret, to be honest, because the York manager the reason why I left York is because of the manager there, and he got sacked a month later. And I'm thinking, why have I moved my family down here? And then you look back now and go, well, this wouldn't have happened. So, of course, always look, is it the best job for me at the moment? I don't think I could have asked to be at a better place at the moment. I think where the club was to take over was the perfect timing. Couldn't have got any lower. And I knew what I could do straight away with just energy alone of being me. And then knowing the level and bringing some good players in with a budget that Richard's backed me with, to be honest. A realistic one. A budget that was never going to be top of the table. We aim to be competitive this season. What does competitive mean? Fighting for the playoffs, maybe. So yeah, overachieved. No, I don't think we have. I was always confident we would be where we are at the moment.
I think a testament to the job that you're doing is that when the Walsall job came up, your name was in amongst the bookies to take over. As a fan, and I think as many fans, I have to say I was worried, but please reassure me that it was never on the cards. No,
I think, do you know what? As a footballer, when you're enjoying your time at a football club, and I've learnt this through playing, you don't even think about anything else. And listen, I can't stop people talking and people putting things on Twitter. But I've got one job to do here, and that is to be hopefully successful, and to be a manager that fans enjoy coming to watch their football. And I think at the moment we've got that. The biggest thing for me now is to continue that and improve it. And if we do, I'll tell you what, we'll be bloody close to where we want to be.
And when you got the job, obviously Jimmy, you picked Jimmy as your assistant. Why did you go with Jimmy? I mean, some may say that your first job you might want an experienced number two, but I mean it's working brilliantly. Yeah.
So when we got the job, I think it was the day before Farsley for the interim. Farsley away 2 years ago with the Reece Williams and the Will Manions of this world. Remember that squad?
Yeah. So that was a cold night.
That was a cold night, but we won, and it was the best win we've had. I got the phone call to say, look, can you take over to the end of the season, basically? And I said, yeah, okay. Well, in a night, I was never going to be able to get anybody. So Jimmy, who helped me with the games previously 3 months before when Pemberton left, he said, look, we'll smash it for the next month and to see where we go. In that time, I saw enough of him, because by the way, I had some big phone calls. But it had to be right for the football club. It also had to be right for me in terms of not getting someone in too big that could potentially be looking to take my role when it's done. So from a selfish point of view, you've got to think of that as well. And since Jimmy's come in, he's got his hands dirty. Didn't know the level at the start. Didn't know the level. He'll back me in what I say here. He knew a little bit about it, played a little bit, but he didn't know the ins and outs of the level and the level above, because he's only ever played Championship League One, Jim. But in the last 2 years, he's got his hands dirty and he knows exactly everything now. And he's on my wavelength, and we've got the same eye, and we've got so much energy. I think it's infectious now to the football club. And I think it's been a great appointment.
Nice of him to copy your hairstyle as well, I thought.
He's bold, I'm shaving.
Okay, all right then. Okay. How does it work then on a day-to-day basis, training-wise? Somebody asked me, said, the pair of you, who does the tactics, squad selection, training schedules, etc. How is that? Is it divvied up? You're the boss, obviously. Are you in total control of it? How does it work?
No, I think from day to day we plan training. Listen, we're full time, so there's no hiding the fact that we get time in the office after training, and we don't have to go to our other jobs. It's just complete Kidderminster Harriers for me and Jim. Along with me and Jim, we've got a full-time physio, Michael Barrett, and then we've got 3 part-time staff who work 2 days a week and the match day. So that'll take a lot of weight off us in their days. But me and Jim plan everything from warm-ups to training sessions, tacticals, technicals. And we'll go over the team in the week of what we believe can win it. Do I have the final say on probably the big decisions? Yes, but we contribute a lot to that both, and we both agree on it at the end of the day. So it's one of them. If I have a feel for it, I'll put my word across and he'll put his word across, and we'll come to an agreement. But when you're both in the same frame of mind, it's very easy anyway.
What's a normal day then? So let's say a normal, say a normal weekday ahead of a Saturday for you.
Okay, so if we play a Saturday to Saturday and we've got the full week of training, the Monday will be a lighter session. Listen, we've got GPS pods now, which measure all the distances all the players do. And listen, we've got a lot of data from clubs at league level on what scientifically is a good week. I'm not all for science and stats, you know what I mean? I'm all about heart and what's right, but I do have to listen to how they are and how their bodies are and what ages they are. So Monday's a light session. Tuesday and Thursday are work days for me. This is what I believe makes us fit. One of the fittest teams in the league, I believe, is we work hard on a Tuesday. We'll work for 90 minutes flat on the grass. A lot of physical output, running, possession-based stuff for the football. And then they'll have the lunch, and then they'll do a gym program in the afternoon with Dan Ludlow, our S&C coach, who takes them to the gym at True Gym, who give us a fantastic membership there for all the players. And they'll have an hour there doing upper bodies, lower bodies. Wednesday off, same again on Thursday. A bit more tactical on Thursday, knowing who the opposition is, i.e. Gateshead. We've done shake today on Gateshead and a lot of team stuff. And then a Friday's I call it vibey Friday.
I was going to say.
Very fun. Take the stress of the game away, because stress can build up on players, anxiety, and releasing all them hormones of, can't wait for tomorrow. And then we'll finish with set pieces, which I think is absolutely vital at our level.
I don't want to date the time of this too much.
But... Sorry to bore you. I could really go on.
No, it's not at all. I love it. This is the sort of stuff that I love. This is the content I want, Russ, so don't worry. I don't want to date this too much, but obviously Saturday, Gateshead, as you say, you've been working on shape for Gateshead. So how are you feeling? How is the mood?
The mood's great. Listen, we drew a line on Farsley on Monday. One thing we have done this season, we've reacted from defeats really, really well. And listen, we're 15 games to go. You can't dwell on anything. Like I said, we've only lost a point last week because that's the only thing we deserved. And if you're going to cry over 1 point, then there's no point in being in the game. So we'll look to go to Gateshead on Saturday to win the game and be right back in the mix.
You talk about the fitness. I think probably the game that exemplified the fitness was West Ham, wasn't it? I think to push a Premier League side 120 minutes. Well, 190 minutes and 50 seconds. It was just, I don't even talk about that element of it, but that just shows, I think, the hard work that you put in, as you say, the fitness reaps rewards, I think, more than more people realise.
Yeah, I think you've got to have fitness levels and you've got to be robust. That's one thing I was as a footballer, and Jimmy was. We were robust footballers. I want players to be available all the time. Now, okay, you've got to have injuries and you're not going to be available, but strong, fit players are available more times than not. You look at Ashley Emmings, you look at Morgan Smith, you look at Sammy Austin. They're available all the time, touch wood, fit, performing week in, week out. And those are the players that we want at the football club. Players you can put your hat on. And yes, we are fit. I think it's very disrespectful if you're not fit, being a full-time football club. And if I ever see a team that aren't fit into a full-time, they're taking the piss out of the manager, to be honest. So that's one thing that would never happen on my watch.
Can we talk about West Ham? I don't know whether...
I'm over it now, mate. I'm over it, pal. So we can talk.
I was going to say, well, yeah, I was going to ask that question. I mean, how quickly did you get over it, or did you have to get over it and literally just box it off? You know, we've got a game coming up.
Very hard, very hard. It was, listen, it was a fantastic occasion on and off the field for the football club. Really put us on the map. I think we've got more lovers after losing the game and how we played and how we conducted ourselves than if we'd probably won. Would it have been a step too far for us? I don't think it would. I think we've conducted ourselves really well this year with your Halifax, your Grimsby, Readings and West Ham. It was just, I still get texts now. I had one last night, commiseration on West Ham. I'm like, mate, it's been a month. And you're commiserating me, do you know what I mean? And it's so close from history. That's what hurts me. The performance was fantastic. You couldn't have asked anything more. I look at myself, should I have made the substitutions? Listen, Declan Rice was going to score that goal if anybody was, because he was just a game changer when it comes to it. But we were fantastic on the day, fantastic. And I couldn't have asked for anything more. The only probably slight criticism I had is when we all 1-0 up, we didn't go for the juggler a little bit more in the second half because we had them rattled, but I can't knock them for that. I can't knock them. We looked so comfortable throughout the game, and I never thought we'd concede. I really didn't.
No, I've got a few points, few points during the game. So Alex Penny scores. So you've got to have your manager's head on, haven't you? But surely your insides must have just been absolutely erupting.
I was probably relieved more than anything because we scored quite early. My worry, the excitement in the week turned into worry on the morning. To think, oh, TV, everyone's here. Don't get stuffed today. Don't be embarrassing. My mum, who says how it is, she's like, don't lose 5-0, Russ. Don't lose 6-0. Like, cheers, mum. So more relief because I thought, oh, we're in the game here. And the longer it went on, I thought, we're more than in the game here. We could win this, and we truly believe that. So heartbreaking, mate, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching. The worst I've ever felt after a game. Even though I was proud, it was harder to watch on Match of the Day. When I got back the next day, actually, it was harder to watch because I knew what was coming.
Yeah,
and that was tough because I thought, bloody hell, we don't even look like conceding today, and I knew it was coming.
Yeah, the match of the day highlights didn't really do us justice. I didn't think it sort of obviously showed what we did in the first half, and then second half it was all about West Ham. So I've watched. I saved the BBC coverage on the day. I must have watched the full 120 minutes back about 4 times.
That's what I watched. I didn't watch the highlights. Sorry,
yeah.
I watched the full match, and like you said, the highlights never show justice, to be honest. But I watched the full match, and we were great, and the crowd was great. The whole place looked bouncy, and so we've achieved so much more than what we set out to. And I said to Richard, who thinks, by the way, this is a common thing now that you get to the 4th round of the FA Cup. This is this is every 25 years stuff, this, mate. Take it in. Even though it's happened to us in the first year, take this in.
Yeah. What did you say to the players at the end of the 90? Declan Rice has just broken our hearts. How did you lift them for extra time?
I'm going to be honest. I thought that was us then. I thought we'd get cream crackered in extra time, and I thought it could be a cricket score because Declan Rice had new legs. We looked shot, especially conceding 30 seconds before. But again, looked really comfortable. Didn't create anything, but neither did they. And I thought it was petering out to a penalty shootout. And to be honest, I'm not a sore loser, but a little bit of luck got him the goal. A shot that he spewed and was going 20 yards wide, got nicked off Bowen. It really fell to the wide man who missed his cross, and it went into Bowen to tap it in. So, again, very harsh, but the response from the crowd straight after that was great. A round of applause and cheering the players on. The biggest thing for me, Nick, is how we reacted after the losing to West Ham to win the next 3 games. Was amazing.
Yeah, and the sort of the overriding emotion for fans is just pride, isn't it? Yes, you've got the heartbreak of the lateness of Jarrod Bowen's goal, but as you mentioned, I think the thing that stood out for me, I don't know, how much you'll have seen sort of fans videos on social media and things. There was one with these guys who've basically follow the winners all the way through the cup. So they followed Halifax to us, then us against Reading, and then us against West Ham. And they were in the East Stand when when Bowen scored, and they're all going, "Oh no, I know!" And then all of a sudden, within 10 seconds, everyone's standing up and applauding. And that for me was probably could have been the moment of the match, I think.
Yeah, it was. Listen, it don't make you feel better. It's like when Declan Rice says at the end of the game, we didn't deserve that. Don't make you feel better. And David Moyes coming in our office, didn't deserve that. Oh, hurts me more. But listen, of course you'd rather have that than having a drink with David and they defeat you 7-0. Listen, we've made some good friends through that, some really good relationship with West Ham. We had Betway offer me and Jimmy tickets for the Wolves game last Sunday in the box, just because we hosted West Ham really well. Stuart Pearce rang me up after Matty Preston's injury and said, "Look, condolences, and unfortunately he was great against us. Can I ring the player personally?" Which he did.
Oh wow!
Things like that you don't get every day of the week. Do you know what I mean? I've got an ex-England international ringing me up saying, "Unlucky with what's happened over the weekend." It's just been great, mate.
Yeah. And how's Matt?
Matt had his second up last night, so hopefully he's back home now. So it's been a long 2.5 weeks on his own, mate, in hospital. Obviously, the COVID restrictions still there, but he's finally on the road to recovery now. His leg's pinned in, and it's he can start his rehab probably in the next month. And
the whole circus, for want of a better word, around that. Do you think that will help everybody come the end of the season? Should we be, if we've got a decisive game come the end of the season, that has got to a degree help, isn't it? Do you think?
In terms of circus,
because obviously there'll be so much attention. It's I suppose to a degree the pressure wasn't on us, was there, in that game? But the cup run that we've had the opportunities to get to the third round, if you like, just the big occasion. We've had it already, so that must help. Do you think?
You've took the words right out of my mouth in terms of my team talk today about the Gateshead game. I said we've witnessed this and been part of this 5 times already this season. And you performed in every single one of them. So take that on board. No, we're not fearing anybody, and we're here to win football games, and we can beat anybody. And Gates is no different this Saturday, and neither is Foyle next week, and Spenning on the Tuesday, and Brackley on the Saturday. They're just games of football. We're not coming up against Real Madrid, playing teams at our level. Good teams at our level, by the way, but we are also a good team.
One of the questions that came in as well was about that West Ham game. Has that benefited you as a manager, do you think? I know you spoke beforehand about relishing going up against David Moyes. What have you taken from that game going forward?
I think we've taken the work we've done on the training ground, really. A lot of pride. We didn't talk about West Ham for the whole month of it building up to it, because we had Saturday, Tuesday for 4 weeks. So I banned any West Ham talk till after the Leamington game. Now, can you imagine how hard that is?
Yeah.
Because I know they're going to be talking about it anyway. But if I heard it in the changing rooms, I knew it would distract them from the games. And we managed to get some serious amount of points in that block. So after we beat Leamington 3-0, which again was a great result, knowing that I don't want to get injured for West Ham. I want to play West Ham. To put them to the sword. And then finally, honestly, the changing room after Leamington was a great place to be in. It was like relief. 16 points from 21 since the draw, and we could really look forward to it now. Bouncing, let me tell you.
Yeah. And from your point of view as a manager, the West Ham game and experience, did you take anything from that? Did you? I mean, you obviously wouldn't have had much of an eye on what David Moyes was doing, but have you learned from that experience of managing alongside him? For sure. There wasn't a lot in the game, to be honest. He was quite quiet. He was probably pissed because they weren't playing how they should have been. The biggest thing for me is, listen, he's managed at Man U and Everton and all these top clubs, to still be able to sit down and have a beer. And that wasn't for the cameras, by the way. The photos were taken off the cuff because the photographer passed the room and saw us fall in there. So he come in there with his assistant, had a beer, and we just talked like normal men about footballs. And it's funny, even though they're up there and we're down here, how much you can relate to so much stuff. Has Jimmy got a bigger desk? Yeah.
No, I think we're having a go page for him, mate. Listen, if the thing is, he'll have a bigger desk than me next season. He's been marble and oak and all that. So he loves that little desk. Fair play to him.
Yeah, I think Luke tweeted out, didn't he, that it was a £10 charity shop buy in the end. Because it used to be his, I think it was what he was saying. A lot of fans have been asking sort of how would you sum up your footballing philosophy as a manager?
So I get asked this a lot, really. I haven't got a philosophy yet. I'll have my philosophy when I've finished the game in 20, 30 years' time. I'm still learning. I'd like to think, Nick, I've just got a good eye at the moment for the level. I know what it takes, and I know what to get in and recruit to be in my mould. If we go up, whether it's this season, next season, season after, then we'll go again. But I've got to improve. I have to improve, and we're really hungry to improve, me and Jimmy, because we want to get better, and I want to take the club to somewhere that is people think is unachievable. I believe it's achievable, but I want to be successful here. And to get that, I've got to work hard and improve myself day in, day out. And I'm not just saying these words, mate, because I've got a great opportunity here to better myself and better the football club, and I'm not going to let it slip.
Is there any managers that you take influence from? Somebody's asking, is there somebody you maybe have looked up to in terms of tactics or in terms of how you carry yourself, how you conduct yourself in terms of interviews with players, that sort of thing?
Not so much tactics. I think tactics is always your own. I learn from the managers I've played under. I learn from the managers Jimmy's worked under, and you combine them and you put your own little stamp on it as well. That's what your philosophy is. In terms of managers I look up to, I'm a big Neil Warnock fan. Just the way he talks, very open and honest. But other managers like Chris Wilder come from non-league, and he's took football by storm. The Cowley brothers gone from non-league and have got into the football league. Managers who stayed in the game, I think it's very hostile, very volatile at the moment. It's ridiculous, stupid. The amount of texts I'm sending to managers. Sorry, mate. Hope to see you in the game soon. I must have sent like 10 already in the last 6 months. Ridiculous, and I hate that to be me one day. But it will be. I'm either leaving or I'm getting sacked, and that is a horrible thing. You know what I mean? Hopefully that's not for a long time yet. But I've always got books on managers, your Fergusons and your Klopps. I've got great admiration for them.
Yeah. Did you see what Jurgen Klopp had to say about the West Ham performance, about how well we played?
He still can't pronounce our name right. I think that's a bit cheap.
I don't think he knew where we were when Reece Williams was playing for us either. So it's not the first time, is it?
The amount of top managers who contacted me that night was great, and that was very overwhelming.
Just going to go back to when you first took the management job as well. I mean, how difficult did you, or how easy did you find that transition from player to manager? I think was it a little bit more difficult because you were going from a player to a manager of the club that you were at? If you'd have gone to a fresh club, if you like, you're walking through the door as a manager fresh, whereas you've gone from a player in the dressing room to the manager in the dressing room. You've got the likes of Keith Lowe, former teammate, at Kiddy, at various clubs as well. Was it an easy transition for you, or was it a bit sort of testing the water to a degree?
I'm going to be honest, Nick. It was easy, mate, because one, I was ready for it. I was ready to stop playing, and this is my next step. I was excited because I've been given a great opportunity, and I think in that first summer, barring one or two, we got rid of everybody because it was needed. So really, apart from your Sam Austins, Tom Palmers, Jayden Whites, Keith Lowe, everyone else had gone. So it was very easy for me. And those four are good pros. So listen, having Keith Lowe on board as a player and as a mate has been fantastic. What he does behind the scenes is one of the reasons why we are where we are as well. He mirrors me in the changing room, and I think he gets a lot of respect from that. And he's played a lot amount of games this season and contributed a hell of a lot.
Yeah, the mates element, has that got to stay out of it to a degree?
Oh, of course. Listen, he's been upset with me when I've took him out of team this year. But he also, will never cross over between mates and player. we see family very regularly, and we don't talk about football, and we see each other. There's massive respect there. But he's here first and foremost to help me. So there's always that inner respect. But yeah, we're not going to make tough calls. He's part of that, and that's the way it is. I won't ever be scared to do that. I think that's what quite a lot of managers have been like in the past, about being yes men or keeping people happy. Now it's about winning the next game and what the best team is, and you've got to upset people sometimes.
And you mentioned sort of that small group of players that stayed. Sam Austin was one of those. I mean, if ever there was an example of a player sort of having to bide their time and then taking their opportunity, then that's it, isn't it? I mean, I don't know, it's maybe sixth season, possibly left sub most of the time, then left back, then pretty much wherever he was told to play, and then all of a sudden you found the role for him, and he's, I mean, flourished is an understatement, I think.
Yeah, he has. I told him the other day, I said, if you were a right back still, you wouldn't be here, mate. You'd be gone somewhere else. And he laughed, and I told him, no, I'm serious. He's took. We just saw something with his close control and his technical ability in training, and we thought it's a free hit here. We brought in Alex Penny, who was a right back at the time, and I thought I like Penny as a strong attribute right back. Got some good attributes. Sorry. So we moved Sammy further up the field, and listen, he hasn't looked back since. And when we play him in right back in training, he gives me the dirtiest look ever. I think you want to appreciate this, mate. What we've done for you here. So it's all banter, mate. But listen, he's took it to another level, and he's excelling at the moment, and he's a great servant to the football club. And long may it continue.
Yeah, how far do you think he can go? Not wanting to kick him out the door, obviously, but in terms of ability, I heard listen back to some of John Murray's commentary from the West Ham game, talking about the players in our squad that could play Football League, and Sam was pretty much the first name that he mentioned.
Of course, I think we've got a few players who can do that. We want them to do it with us first and foremost, and I think that's a big thing for us. We've got to act like a league club, and if you don't, you're never going to get there. We'll never stop players from moving on if it's right for us in the football club, but it's got to be right for them. And what I will say at the moment, Sam Austin's in a really, really good place. And it ain't always the right thing to move on to certain clubs. We're a club on the up. There's not a lot of clubs on the up at the moment, and we are one of them. And that's why we can attract good players at the moment. There will be a day we say goodbye to Sam, like we will do with everybody. But that'll be down the line.
Yeah. Has it been interested in?
There's interest in all our players all the time, and that will never stop, because I believe we are the best, or second, if not the best footballing team in the league. Coinciding that with full time, so top clubs know how fit we are. But if you want to leave the football club, then you've got to make sure it's the right football club to move on, because this is a club going in the right place.
I think a little testament to how good Sam is at the moment. I was at Chorley, and one of the Chorley fans came up to me after the game. He said, "Who's your number 7 on loan from?"
Did he?
Yeah. So he's thinking he's on. Yeah.
Coaching. Must be the coaching.
And also at the Curzon game, I bumped into Greg Abbott, and he said, "Who's your number 7?"
Yeah. Well, they know who he is, and they know where he is, and listen, you can't stop that. We've got some really good players, really good young players. Listen, we look after ourselves at this football club now, and we tie people down properly. So if ever they were to go, it's fine. Yeah.
And you talk about assets. I mean, Bajrami is the one that I think a lot of people identify straight away as, what's he doing at our level? Is he tied down? Can you say anything about his situation at the moment?
Well, listen, there's things in his contract which look after us, and there's things in the contract that look after him, and that's the way it's got to be. Are we lucky to have had G? Probably. Was it due to the COVID squad sizes? Probably. But he had offers in the league above, turned them down for us, not for money, but because he loved the place. And I said to him as well, I said, listen, if you want to move to a better club, great, do it for yourself, do it for your football ability, but they're not all out there, do you know what I mean? And playing higher up doesn't mean you'll be a happier footballer. Take us with you, do you know what I mean? And that's where we are. But again, we're protected on that one as well. So he's happy here, and as long as my players are happy, I said that's all you can do, because you can have players tied down for 4 years and they're not happy; they become more of a pain.
Yeah.
So as long as we are one of the offers or one of the clubs that are interested in him, I think we've got a great starting point for what we can provide here at the football club.
Yeah, and he's buying into it. Obviously, he didn't
get an answer.
No. I think you can read between the lines. Don't worry. We're looking after him, and he's looking after us. Basically,
Listen, all I will say is when your centre half who's not playing is in the terraces singing songs. I think that shows a lot, don't you?
Yeah, well, that is exactly what I was going to say next. You know, he's obviously buying into it if he's in the North Stand starting off the songs.
Correct.
One person
with his poor Achilles, you know what I mean? But listen,
if he's doing the positive,
he paid his fine and we moved on.
One player that I did want to talk about as well is on one of the graphics behind me is Amari. Difficult start for him, I think, on his return. He obviously got the suspension for the Chester incident, and then the Hereford sending off as well. So it seemed like such a long time until we saw him this season, and then I think he had to get himself back in the team, get the fitness back, and that sort of thing. But I mean, he's irreplaceable, isn't he, at the moment? I think.
Yeah, you bang on, Nick. I couldn't be more prouder than him, than anybody else, really. I think this time last year we were going into a really difficult conversation of we didn't know what to do, to be honest, because I knew what he could produce, what he's doing now, but I hadn't seen it. My owners, who didn't know the level, only saw it on face value, being sent off. 8 games ban altogether, 9. I think it's 11 game ban altogether. Oh. Court case, not playing, one of your highest earners. That's how they see it. And I've had to kind of say, look, but he can do this. He can do that. Listen, we got there in the end. And, you know, he's been absolutely fantastic. The last 6 weeks, you know, you wouldn't find a better striker in League 2 at the moment, mate. Again, he's very happy. He's 33. He's not getting no younger. I can't believe it. He looks 33, but he don't play 33. And you know, he's another player that we'll be looking to keep going forward.
Yeah. I mean, whenever the club puts up the socials of the post-match celebrations, 99% of the time the camera's always on him, isn't it? Because he's giving it the fist pumps and the come-ons and everything like that. He's another that has bought into everything.
Yes, and you know what? I'll go on to something a little bit different. How well Ethan Freeman has backed him up as well this season, and has pushed him to levels that he didn't realise he could get to. Because I think at the start of the season, everyone was worried about he's missing 6 games, so we brought in Niall Bell to kind of be the number 9 and hopefully compete and play with him. That didn't work out. So Ethan Freeman, the first 6 games was amazing, and then he's backed him up throughout the season, started when he's needed a rest, scored goals, come on, changed the games. And he, again, is only getting better. And to have, hopefully, them 2 signed up, well, one's already done.
Yeah.
Hopefully get Morgs done soon. For them 2 going forward, he's great for the future of the club.
Yeah. Hey, just a word on Ethan. Obviously, he signed a new deal this week.
Brilliant, mate. And he's in the mould of your Caleb Richards, your Keziah Martins, players that are just developing within 18 months and are taking it to another level. I know they can play in the league above, definitely play at this level, and these are assets. These are assets who aren't costing the club a fortune. They're brought into what we're doing. They've got great energy around the place. So yeah, a couple more of those would do to coincide with what we've got.
Yeah, so big ticks next to them. I wanted to talk about Luke as well, our goalkeeper, because when he was signed, everybody does a little bit of research, don't they? And you look at the appearances, and there wasn't that many, was there? He's sort of been the backup at pretty much all the clubs that he's been to. So why did you bring him in? What did you see in him?
A little bit of luck with that as well, really, because we had a model, or we wanted a model of a lone goalkeeper, the Will Mannion type. He was fantastic for us. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Luke. He went to Paphos at the time, had a 3-year deal at Paphos. And we tried to get a loan in. We brought a lad in from Swansea, Josh Gould, who played all pre-season. Didn't like it, didn't like what I saw. And I thought, no. So we went a different route. Got offered all these others. Didn't like them. Always had Luke Simpson in my phone book through being a number 2, what I've always played, being reliable, very good references, very good character. So I said, look, bit of desperation from me. We're going into the season next week. Can you play in this last pre-season game against Stockport? Did well. We offered him a short-term deal. Start the season as number one. We'll see where we are in 3 months. And he was okay the first season. I think he's been great this season, and he grew. He's never been a number one, so I'm still thinking he's learning how to be a number one goalkeeper and having that swagger about him a little bit and that bit of arrogance. And I think he can get better. I really do.
Yeah, and he's bought into it as well. I mentioned that the car school and they're coming down from Manchester every day. I mean, when he was talking on Wes's show, he was saying, just the spirit. I think Wes asked him about, can we win this league? And it wasn't the word that he said. It was just his facial expression of, the spirit that we've got at this club. He says it's something else.
Yeah, listen, he's a good character. He's got his weaknesses. He's got lots of strengths, like all players at our level. He's an oddball, and I say an oddball in a way where they're on another planet sometimes, mate. I don't know what planet they're on, but I like that because if I saw a normal goalkeeper, I'll be worried. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Lee Evans, Luke Simpson, Tom Palmer, who, by the way, has played 50 games for Russell in the league below, was second in the league. We all know he's one for the future. He's been great. And Jamie Emery, who never gets talked about, he's been Simo's soundboard and basically punching bag for the whole season. And I think that's got a big part to play in how well he's done as well.
Yeah, and I guess that just exemplifies how important the whole squad is, doesn't it? You know, Jaden's had to bide his time, I suppose, to a degree. Keith, as you mentioned, has been in and out and has come in when is needed. There's others that maybe haven't got the game time that they would have liked, but you'll see them day in, day out, and they'll be pushing the ones who are starting, won't they?
Well, of course, who would have thought Alex Penny would have scored 7 goals and got man of the match against West Ham and been probably one of the best right backs in the league after the first 2 months of the season where Joe Folks took it to another level. Who would have thought? Yeah. Unfortunately, Joe Folks got injured and hasn't been able to get his place back. And he can't knock on my door because there's nothing to say. It's just one of those unfortunate things where, to be honest, though, he's trained really well and he's backed Penny up really well. Jaden White, he's definitely grew again this year, but he's playing second fiddle to Ashley Evans, who's one of the best wide men in the league. But Jaden White's going to be a great asset for us going forward. Keziah Martin started the first 5 months, got injured. Lewis Montrose has got his mojo back a little bit now, and Mark Carrington, who's been great throughout the year. So that's where we are. It's a long season. It's been tough, and there's going to be a lot more obstacles in the next few weeks. But you know, as morale as a squad has never been questioned ever. But we've just got to be consistent with performances as well.
Where does the morale then compare to whatever you experienced as a player? Is it better than you've experienced as a player, or is it difficult to tell because you've got a different role obviously now?
Yeah, I think you've just hit the nail on the head there. I'd like to think it was the best. The players are telling me it's one of the best. I know they go out and eat together. They go out together, which is a great thing. That means they're mates off the field as well. I like to think so, but I've parked my way away from that changing room now. I can't, as much as I want to, and have the banter and have a laugh and fight with some of them. I can't. I've got to show that distance. And I think they respect that from me because they know how hard it is. They have me times where I'll integrate and we'll have a banter, or we'll go out for a few drinks, or we'll go for a meal. But that's it. But I know I've got the vibe. If I felt there was a bad egg in there, it'd be gone, like I've done already this season. If I feel there's tension, I'll snap it out of them, or we'll put things straight. And I think I'll manage that situation quite well, really.
Yeah, that was one of my questions actually. The whole bad egg, team spirit, bad egg versus ability kind of conundrum to a degree. I get the impression that it wouldn't be an issue if you can have all the ability, but if you're a bad egg, you're not getting in.
True, but I like to say the way we recruit players, where me and Jimmy meet the player and potentially his agent and parent as well, that we know what we're signing before that it gets to that. So if it does get to that, I think we've missed the trick there. We had an occasion with Amari Sterling when he signed, and his laid back attitude in the first 3 months. I thought, bloody hell, what have we done? Good player, but it's upsetting people by his work rate. His work rate now second to none, and I take great pride in that. of how his mentality's changed, how he's hitting the distances now. It was all mental in the first place, all mentality, how it looked, and we snapped that out of him straight away. And again, let's hope he's a big part of what we got going forward.
Yeah, how do you tackle that then? Is it a carrot or stick approach?
Depends what character it is. I know what who can take what and who can't take what. So listen, I'll never do anything in public and in front of people because I think that's very disrespectful. But you know, in behind closed doors, I think it's only right. A few home truths come out, but also a bit of love as well. You know, we're here to win games. I'm here to win games. I'm not here to fall out of people. And if giving Amari Sterling a kick up the arse is the best thing for the football club, then I'll do it. If giving Ashley Emmons a bit of cheese, as we say, a bit of love, a bit of candy floss, I'll do it. Taking Sammy Ofsted out and his wife for a meal, I'll do it. Because if that gets me a result, then we're all happy days. So, you know, managing different people, that's the hardest thing. Managing 22 personalities is challenging.
Yeah, you mentioned Sammy there. Obviously, got the armband. Why him?
Well, Lewis Montrose was Cliff Moyes was originally captain when we come in. Lewis Montrose I brought to the football club as a real leader, football club captain. With Monty obviously missing the first 3 to 4 months of the season. Sammy's took the armband with pride, knows the club inside out, knows me and Jimmy as players, and his levels have gone up. Yeah. He's not one who shouts. He don't talk, Sammy. I don't need him to. His feet do the talking. And he's well respected by everyone at the football club. Conducts himself very well. Lives like a footballer, so he should do. Yeah. And that's why he'll have a fantastic career.
Yeah, but you've got options as well, haven't you? I suppose you could have picked a number.
Yeah, but so you say that, but doesn't mean they are good captains. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean Nathan Cameron, who's a big leader at the back. He's got to be a good captain. I'm sure he will be, but he doesn't need a captain's armband to be a captain. You don't have to have the armband. He'll be one anyway. Lewis Montrose, who, you know, probably might have been disappointed he hasn't had the armband back, but he's a leader anyway. It's natural to him. So if I've got 8 captains on the pitch as opposed to 1, even better from a selfish point of view.
Are you looking to add to the squad? A few questions asking whether you are. I've heard you say, you know, numerous times, if you're not going to improve the squad, you're not coming in. Yeah.
Listen, I've been on the phone all week, and a few things will come out in the next week, I hope. But like I said, we get offered players everywhere, every day, from every part of the country. But if they're not better than what we got, there's no point. They've got to be the right mould, the right player at the right price. That's it. Yeah. It's not easy because clubs aren't letting anyone go because 15 games in the season, they want everyone in the building. So it's hard. So you've got to have a little bit of luck, i.e. the Matt Preston situation. Wasn't liked at Solihull. We jumped in, we got him. Ended up being one of the best loan signings in the last 10 years at the football club, albeit for a month. Yeah. So you need that little bit of luck. Towards the end of the season, you might have a few players that have been told they're not here next season and they might be looking for new clubs. You jump on that bandwagon as well. So, everyone keep their eyes peeled and see where we are in the next 7 to 10 days.
Yeah. How much of your eye is on next season as well? I know you talked about new deals potentially for current members of the squad. Are you and Jimmy having conversations about next season, or does that, to a degree, do you have a list of National North and National League depending on where we are?
We don't have a list on the leagues because you could lose sight very quickly of what you're actually trying to do. Listen, we need to get there first. And I believe the players that we bring to the club, as we've seen in the FA Cup with what we've got on the team, are well capable of challenging the league above anyway. We've already spoke to players about next season who we can't sign this season, but we spoke to about next season to improve our squad. So, yeah, that's ongoing. And these players will play in whatever league we're in.
A word on the fans, and you mentioned obviously, I mean, the trajectory of what was it, Hereford game, wasn't it? I think 3,000 home fans. The increase has just been phenomenal, hasn't it? And listening to the Hereford game on the radio, the noise as well. I don't think I've heard the home noise like that for such a long time. How much of a boost does that give you when? Obviously, the club are putting out on social media this many tickets sold, so you'll have been aware of sort of what sort of crowd that you were going to get anyway. But how much of a boost does it give to you when you hear that attendance? You know, you put 1,000 on your last Tuesday night home game.
It's fantastic, and one thing that they are good at is giving us a bit of info before the game. So when I'm saying, you know, there's 3,800 here at Hereford or there's 2,800 at Boston, it gives them a massive lift. Listen, players want to play in front of crowds. We've had a year of not playing in front of anybody. So I always used to love playing in front of big crowds, big players, on big occasions. So it's been great. The big thing for me, listen, we've always got our fan base, our older fan base. They'll always be there. But the youth coming through now, behind the goal, and bringing that energy of noise, bouncing. It's great to see, mate. And it's like Telford away. It's brilliant. It's levels. I've said, like a league club, we'll get there. And they are acting like a league club as well. They're backing the players, they're backing myself, and they're backing the football club. But mainly, they're enjoying it as well. Got one of the best home records in the league. We're scoring goals for fun. What's there not lot to like? It's a great buzz around the place, a great energy. And we've got a couple more Tuesday night games as well, which is great. So looking forward to them. I
put a tweet out, I can't remember after which game it was, but there was a photo which was taken down the line of the main stand, and there was to be about 6, 7 of our players all sort of leaning in for selfies with all the kids and everything like that. Is that just evolved, or is it something that you might have said beforehand? Or is it just happened?
No, we said before the Man United game in pre-season that we're going to make this a staple this season of going round the U shape of the ground, you know, where the home stand is all the way around to the dugout. Because there's been no interaction with the fans whatsoever for about 10 years. And listen, just by doing that has brought the club together like that, so fast and so quickly.
And easy.
Easy, but I never expected it to be like this, by the way. And then you have your selfies, and then with the new era of tweeting and whatever, and then you're replying to tweet. Just like that, mate, they've become like family.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is to the players, you know, be approachable, but don't go over the line.
Yeah.
It's very hard at the moment because everyone's showing so much love to the footballers, and they love it because they haven't had it in the past. But hopefully that's one of the reasons they want to stay at the football club. And also, Nick, we've gone through some great times, mate. We've not a lot of bad times at the moment. So when it comes, that's when you've got to be strong. And I told them that. But hopefully the fans will stick with them like they did at Farsley the other day, and they clapped us off. And listen, just one of them days. That's great. Okay? I can't have too many of them days, and I'm sure we won't do. But that's the support you need to be successful.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I've not been able to get back for quite a few games. But I see sort of footage of the Harriers arms after games, before games and stuff. What's it like at the moment? I presume you and Jimmy might go in for a drink, or some of the players might go in afterwards just to get a bit of refreshment and just sort of not lap it up, but make sure you're part of it as well, I suppose.
Yeah, there's a time and a place to do it. So we won't do it all the time, but I also think it's a good time to give something back. It's a good time for fans, even though they're totted up with a couple of points, to have a chat to one of the heroes, talk about the game. So then when you do go back, you're telling your wife and kids. I saw Sam Austin yesterday. I had a drink with him. I'm going next Saturday. That's why we do it. We don't do it to we do it because we want to do it. And also it's the right thing to do. Don't get me wrong, if you get to the league and you play higher up and the players are a lot more valued, these things kind of tailor off a little bit. But in non-league, this is what it's about, mate.
Yeah, I always remember Colin saying publicly about how I can't remember whether he said he didn't want his players to mix with fans, but it was a kind of like, we're professional footballers, we don't do that. And I always felt that sort of jarred, we are a professional full-time club, but we're in the 6th tier, and ultimately, you're relying on your fans to see you through, and you're doing what you're doing. The players are doing what they're doing, and attendances are going up, and you just look on socials, and kids are getting selfies with their heroes, as you say.
Yeah, it's a fine balance, and to be honest, like you say, when you're at the 6th level of football, you've got to be a realist as well. Do you know what I mean? Yes, we can act like a football league club, but don't distance yourselves from the fans, because at the end of the day, we can't say, we want 3,000 in for home games, but then I don't want to talk to them. No, we want 4,000 in. How do we do that? Okay, we've got to communicate with them. Then you've got to do things that you're probably not comfortable with. But I'll tell you what, interact with them, shake a few hands, sign a few signatures, be nice and polite. retweet a certain few, and then just like that, mate, it opens a can of worms. The thing is, then everyone wants to do it, and they all need bloody PAs and managers. But listen, it's great, and I will never stop that. I think what makes us different is how well we are as a football club, how tight knit we are. And even Richard does exactly the same. So he doesn't just leave it to the players. He leads from the front, and he's there, and he's standing there. He'll take some shit sometimes, but also he'll take the compliments.
How much do you? This sounds like a really stupid question. How much do you get recognised?
In Kidderminster?
Well, just generally, when you're out and about, I know. I think some of your press before the West Ham game were like, you'd be out, you were buying cheese and wine. Apparently, you were saying you can not feel, but you're aware of people spotting you, if that makes sense.
A lot more now since the cup run.
Yeah.
Listen, it don't help when you're driving around with the reg I've got. Do you know what I mean? But listen, it's great, and it means we're doing something well. Do you know what I mean? So. I'm all for that. Listen, I'm quite humble. I get a bit embarrassed when people compliment me. Do you know what I mean? So I don't ever look for it, like you know, by following my Twitter. I'm not one for tweeting, but I will do if it's needed.
Thanks for the retweet, by the way.
Yeah, it's all right. I've learned a lot from football in the past, about tweeting and messaging and putting things on forums. I've learned a lot, but that comes with experience.
What's your message to the fans? As you say, they're backing you now, aren't they? In their numbers, the away days are great, the home days are great as well. So, what's your message to them? We've got 15, 16 games left.
Message is loud and clear. Is back us to the end and keep the energy, because it is massively appreciated by the players more than anything, myself and Jimmy and the owner. But also by yourselves, and we had 2,800, was it, over 3,000 against Boston? I want 3.5, I want 4. I'm greedy, and I want them to be greedy. I want them to be greedy for success, because that's the only way we're going to be successful, is if everyone's a little bit greedy, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to bring success, but I need them behind us. Players are doing everything they can on the football field, but they need your backing, like your Telfords away. To get us over the line, because every percent, I'm all a percentage man. Every percent is massive going into the last quarter of the season.
You talk about success, then. What do you see as success? How far do you think you can take this club?
I don't like to give myself objectives, because I'll get sacked if I don't get there. Nick, you know what I mean? We all know what success is. I think you need a promotion. I'd love a promotion on my CV. I know it's early days, but I'd love a promotion. So does 24 of the clubs in this league. Our one objective this year was to fill the place up once. We thought that would be Man U in pre-season. It ends up being 4 times in the FA Cup. So that's great. We know we've got there. To see the club grow is my thing now. Whether that will be the averages of the crowd, the improvement of the stadium, i.e. new floodlights coming imminently, the training ground facilities, making the club sustainable, which Richard says, which I think that's great, even though from a selfish point of view I just want to win games. If the club's sustainable, it means I'm doing well, and attracting very good footballers make the club better, and to be a club that people can relate to. So not just players who shake hands and take photos, but having a good structure in place, keeping your assets. I'm talking to other clubs and they haven't got assets, and the players aren't tied down and run properly. A football club that's run properly by a proper football man. That's how I want to be known by. And if I get a promotion in there, or a cup run like we've had this year to go alongside it, that would be great.
And is it sustainable from a talent point of view as well? I know the education side of things, the teams below you, how strong are they? There always seems to be 1 or 2 at least on the bench.
This is something that we've got great links with. Listen, we've got some fantastic plans going forward. I don't get involved a lot with it in that kind of view with the education, as it's 2 different kind of partners, even though it's one badge. But we are moving together forward. Richard owns the lot. So, you know, his priority is everything. And yeah, I think with the youth system going forward, we've got some really good kids. But also the numbers, you know, the clubs, the players that are probably never going to play football professionally, but are enjoying the football, wearing the Kiddy badge. It's great. I think we've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams from under 16 to under 23 level, women's included. It's massive.
Yeah.
And I've said it now. I know I've said it's massive, mate. So,
everywhere we go.
Everywhere we go. And even 9s to 16s, you've got two teams in each age group. It's massive, mate.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And is the talent there? Yeah, the numbers there, but the talent is there. As I mentioned, those ones who are on the bench, they're earning their place, aren't they?
Yes, they are. So you look past the talent. Tom Palmer, Jaden Whitey for Freeman will come through the education scheme. Kyle Lissamore, who is developing and will be a player in the next 1 to 2, 3 years. Jack Tolley, who's getting noticed now. There's always one. He's always one. And you look at Ethan Freeman, he slipped through Warsaw's net and landed in our net. And hopefully he can be the powerhouse number 9 in the next 2 to 3 years. So that's it. We don't do this education scheme to get players through to the first team. It's not an academy like it is in the league. We do the education scheme as a football partnership with Kidderminster College. Now, the good link with us, because we've got the same owner, is if there is a good player there, he'll get the chance to train and play with us. That's why it's a great model. It's not a model that would work in the Football League. It's a model that works out in non-league. So it's very niche.
I've got some quick fire questions because I was trying to think how can I finish it up with just try and keep it kind of light. So these may be the worst questions you've ever heard, so apologies in advance. Best mate, this is all about when you were playing for us, by the way. This is from a Harriers point of view. Best mate, when you were playing for us?
When I was playing for Kiddy originally?
Yeah. Or even your second spell. Who's been your best mate as a Harriers player?
Second spell didn't count here, mate. I was crap. First spell, Gavin or Trigger.
Yeah.
Saying that, I've had a text from Andy Ferrell tonight. I'm going to meet you tomorrow at the hotel because we're staying over tomorrow in Gateshead.
Of course, yeah.
Coming to meet me tomorrow, Fezza. So that's nice. But yeah, Gavin Uren.
Yeah, I saw Andy Farrell on some. I think he's done a podcast recently, hasn't he? I've seen some social media footage of him.
Yeah, John Pot. Yeah. He don't change. He's just a funny character, but it's
Best goal for us.
Oh, great question. Best goal. I'll say best goal. Most important goal was Northwich away, getting to Wembley, and celebrating in front of 1,000 fans. I think we took a couple of bangers at Halifax when I scored 4. Oh, I always remember
the header against Stevenage for some reason.
Great goal, great ball by Brits, great diving header. Rushton and Diamonds scored a couple of goals there. Oh, tough one that, mate. I remember Farsley Celtic at home. Last minute winner, header from about 18 yards out. Jeff Kenner whipped it in. Header from about 18 yards. But I can't think. Stevenage away. I remember Isaac Christie laying me off 18 yards, left foot, bang, bottom corner. Let's go with the Stevenage diving header, mate.
Yeah, why not? If you could sign anyone from your playing past to play for you now, who would it be?
Playing past or Kiddy past?
Kiddy. Well, if you got one for each, then fine. But from a Kiddy, let's go Kiddy first of all.
Let's go Kiddy past. I'll tell you what. I think he would have done well in this team now, Simon Russell.
Oh yeah.
I think he'd do well in this team in that little 7-10 role that we have at the moment. Very good on the ball, playmaker. I liked him. Loved Jeff Kenner for that one season. God Almighty, he was a different level. Listen, Kreitz, no nonsense, edit, kick it, proper centre half. Loved Isaac Christie when he could be bothered. But when he could be bothered, good player. So yeah, those are mine, mate. James Constable, man. He scored goals every week.
He was in my head. I wonder whether he might get a mention. He might get a mention. Yeah. Biggest regret? I have an idea what this might be, but I could be wrong.
Oh, I don't know what that might be. Biggest regret? Well, I told you one was coming to Kiddy. It ended up being the best, so that's not a regret. Biggest regret? Oh, I'm going to miss something out here, aren't I? Go on, what's yours?
Wembley.
Well, of course, but that weren't down to me, was it?
No. You know what I mean? Just as a in a Harriers shirt, that it still stings even now.
Yeah, it does. God, you know what? In all the big games, I've always failed. Nick, I've always failed, mate.
Make up for it as a manager, Russ. Come on.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, that was again, big crowd, fantastic occasion. 2-0 up, flying. My God, I watched that game. I tell you what, I watched that game about 2 months ago. Could have been 4-0 up half time and lost. Oh.
Yeah. When Steve Morrison came to Leeds, I subtly reminded him of it. And
big regret. I'll tell you what, I've got one. You won't remember this. We played Cambridge in the FA Cup first round. I was running around like a blue arse fly. Got booked after about 3 minutes, which I did naturally those days. Yatesy pulled me off after 15 minutes. And I chucked the coat at him, I chucked the water bottle at him, and I walked in the changing room. I was only 22. And I thought, what am I doing? I went upstairs. Fozzie, the physio at the time, Ian Foster, he went, "You all right? You calm down now?" I said, "Mate, sorry." Anyway, me and Yatesy, we looked it out after the game, but I was going to get sent off. I was, so we did the right thing. We won anyway in the end.
How good a manager was Yatesy for you?
In his kiddie spell, first 3 years, 2 years exactly, his first 2 years after Wembley, he was brilliant because he had the same drive I've got now, that enthusiasm, young manager coming in, come out of Burnley, knew the game, knew the level, signed some top players. I think he got to his 4th year and we lost all that squad, didn't we? That got so close to the playoffs. Heated off a little bit, got a great move to Cheltenham again, that kind of invented him.
Yeah.
Signed me for Cheltenham from Burton, and we had a great 3 years there. And then since then, it's just potted around. He'll agree with what I say. I speak with Yates, quite regularly, and I liked him. I had him for 7 years, 8 years, and he gave me some very good contracts, mate. So I'm never going to nail him.
This is one that somebody gave me. I don't know whether you remember this or not. It's quite a long one. One booking away from a ban coming up to the 2000 FA Trophy final. Yatesy had rested you. You came on in the 65th minute for Jake Sedgemore at home against Woking and got booked in the 90th minute for dissent, which meant you had a 3-match ban served prior to the FA Trophy final. Were you under orders to deliberately get booked, and why did it take you a whole 25 minutes?
Great question, and I've got a great answer for you. So, listen, this. I hope this bloke ain't from the FA because I will get done here. So, I remember I was on 14 yellow cards, and there was 4 games to play. So, if I had one more yellow, I missed 3 games, or I was running the risk that I couldn't play in the last 3 games because if I got one more yellow, I'd miss Wembley. So, we pulled the ref in before the game, and we said, "Look, we're going to bring Russ Penn on the 70th minute mark, and he's going to get booked." Hey, ref agreed, yeah? So anyway, I'm on the bench. Sedge has come off, I've come on. I've made a few tackles. He's not booking me. I'm going, Yatesy, he's not booking me. Anyway, the tackle in the 90th minute, I swear to God, should have been a red card. And I thought, shit. Anyway, took the yellow out and said, "Get off with you. That would do, yeah." And that was it, mate. So I couldn't, even though I made about 5 fouls. And then the one I got booked for, I should have been sent off for. So yeah, good day that, mate. Good day. Missed the next 3 games and then back for Wembley. It was lovely.
I wish somebody had told Johnny Harkness to kind of rein it in slightly.
Harsh. Hey, listen, mate, that was gut wrenching. He was crying all the way home, mate.
Really?
So, yeah. It was sad day, mate, because he was a good mate of mine, Johnny.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you speak to many of that group?
Randomly, I haven't spoken to Johnny Harkness in about 10 years, and then he rings me about a month ago. He's a farmer now in Northern Ireland, and 3 kids and all this.
Yeah.
I still speak to Kreitz. I still speak to Trigger, who's at Bromsgrove now. Fez. Adam Bartlett, who I've played with at York, and he's at Newcastle. Still speak to Barts. Baker, Lee Baker. He's at Albion now. Scott Bevans at Birmingham. So speak to a lot. Speak to a lot of them.
That's good. That's good.
Jim Constable, speak to him.
Yeah, the James Constable one is weird. I don't know whether his relationship with us kind of soured. I don't know. I don't know if there's a backstory to it. It just seemed to go wrong from a player to a fan's point of view after he'd left. I don't know whether that's right or not.
Well, one of those things. Norgrove was the chairman at the time, and I think we needed the money. And just like that, we sold Scott Bevan and James Constable overnight. And I remember ringing them both up that night. They were close to me, and I was like, "Lads, you can't go. What's me and James were like the main players at the time. I was like, you can't go, James. Where are we going to go from here?" So I was gutted when we come the next morning that they'd both gone, and I think they both went for about 50 grand.
Yeah,
for both of them.
Yeah,
thinking, so that's where we are. I think I had a bid turned down from Peterborough about 6 months later, which they turned down, which was considerably a lot more than what they accepted for Burton 6 months later. So I don't know where the club were financially, obviously not very good, but that's where we were at the time.
Other questions? Meal of choice?
Spaghetti bolognese.
Keep it simple.
Love that. Or listen, I love a Chinese takeaway. I love an Indian takeaway. To be honest, I've ate like shit the last 2 years, and I really need to get back on the old trend. I've got no interest in going back to football at all. I'm enjoying it, mate.
Drink of choice then. What do you have with your bowl?
Listen, I love fizzy pop. It's a big addiction of mine. I like a beer, a casual one. But yeah, listen, I'm Coca-Cola, man.
Good stuff. If you could sign anybody from the Premier League for you, who would it be?
Ronaldo.
Even now, current. I mean, talking present day, not the
present day. Declan Rice. Not just because I think he's the best midfielder in the league at the moment, and he's going to get a big move imminently. Yeah,
I know you've spoken about it. Or it's been in the press about how he was after the West Ham game. Just give us. Well, tell me.
Very real. I think if you watch his podcast with Gary Neville, I think that shows you what he's about. Straight in the changing room, straight in the showers. I've got the Declan Rice in the showers, so I've gone in. He's there with his conditioner on his hair and then talking to the lads. I'm like, oi! He was great, mate. He was real. That's what I say, because we think as fans and players that these footballers are different breeds. They're not. Declan Rice is from an area in London where any normal kid's from. It's just fortunate for him. He's a very, very good footballer, earning a vast amount of money. But that is it. He's still the same person who loves the same banter, and I think he loved it because he was with real people, and that's it. And that's talking to players like Hemo and Cara in the showers. He's like him talking to his mates. So it's not surprising. People think it's surprising, but it's not.
Yeah, and great for him to put that tweet out on the back of Matt's injury as well.
Again, he's a good professional. I think the way West Ham conducted themselves was great. They were I'd say they were respectful off the field. I don't think they respected us on the field because I don't think they would play that bad again. But
do you think that was a complacency thing?
It has to be. How could it not be? First versus a top level team playing a 6-tier team. Yes, the pitch might be a leveler, but the pitch weren't Farsley Celtic pitch. It's still a decent complacency, and we knew if they were going to be complacent, we would have half a chance, and we did.
Win a game 1-0 or win it 4-3, or 5-4 or whatever.
Clean sheets are all. I really like clean sheets. And 1-0 is the best victory. It means it's hard working. Don't get me wrong, it ain't good for the old. But I like 1-0s, mate.
Yeah. I like a 4-3. As long as you're on the winning side, I don't mind. I like that. Although saying that, because obviously Luke had been on such a great run of clean sheets, hadn't he? And then when that Boston goal went in, I was so deflated. Even though I knew we'd won the game.
The expectations now of 7 clean sheets, it's like, oh God, I can't disappoint you. You know what I mean? It's like we've gone too high with the bar.
Well, as long as we score one more, at least one more, then it's all right. It's okay. You're obviously quite a young manager. Who out of the current squad that you've got do you think can you see as going on to be a manager? They may have already spoken to you about it.
No, they haven't. I'll tell you who's got a tactical mind. I don't think anyone even thinks about that at the moment, and I don't know if they're going into that. But Amari Sterling is the most tactical inept player we've got in our football squad, who talks the most sense, who can understand what he's saying and on levels with players. Very knowledgeable of the game. Might not be knowledgeable in life, but very knowledgeable of the game. He won't be a manager, but I tell you what, tactically very, very good. Apart from that, mate, no one will be a manager now. I can't see. No. Not yet, anyway. Not yet.
Would you recommend it?
I wanted to be one when I was 30. I wanted to be one. I wanted to get that opportunity. So to get that opportunity, I took all my coaching badges. That I ticked a lot of boxes. So with your A license, your B license, and 600 career games, you've got a better chance than someone else who hasn't got that. Yeah. So I'll give myself a good platform. Then I had the look of the assistant manager job at Kiddy. Then I had the look of being in the right place at the right time with a new owner who said, "Go on then, take it."
Yeah. How early did you get your badges? How early did you know that's the path you wanted to take?
Took my B license when I was 30, and I completed my A license while I was 34. All while I was playing, which was hard, but well worth doing it. And I made some great friends from the courses as well.
Has that made post retirement easier? You had that goal straight away, because we hear a lot, don't we, when players retire, how difficult they find it. You've lost that routine, you've lost the buzz. You know, you're all ready to go, aren't you? When you've got your badges.
Yeah, with no disrespect to non-league football, when I come out of the league at 31 after Carlisle, it was and your money comes down. You have to start realising what you're going to do. Realistically, I'm not going to get back in the Football League unless I get promoted. With the certain teams, Gateshead and Wrexham was where I was at the time. So you've got to put things in place. And I knew I couldn't wait for 5. I'd have 5 years left of football, which I knew I had. But I knew I couldn't just come to an end in 5 years and then just go on the building side. I had to have something productive. Because with what I've got on my relationships, I believe I could be an academy manager at some level or something in the game. So that's why I did it, really.
We'll finish up in the Mo. I've completely lost my thread now, which is always good. Good job. This is why it's not live, so I can edit it out. It's all fine. It's all fine. Your ambitions then. What are your career goals, if you like? Are you someone who has that unwavering belief in yourself that one day you can go right to the top, or do you have I don't know how you'd phrase it. Do you sort of think I'll do as best as I can, or it is what it is, whatever comes along sort of thing?
Okay, so I want to be successful. I want to stay in the game. I think staying in the game is a success. The amount of sackings at the moment is very volatile. I don't like it, but you've got to get on with it. It's real, and it will happen to me. A very good manager told me even the best managers have been sacked, and that hurts me because I think, no way, I don't want to be sacked. So I don't think you'll know in yourself what you are until that comes. But yeah, I want to be successful. I want to be successful with Kidderminster. I've got ambitions to manage as high as possible, but I'm also a realist, and these things take time. I don't think that far ahead. I want to be managing Wolves in the Championship in 2035. I always think about the short term, and the long term. It's with Kiddy. It has to be, because if you don't and you're thinking too far ahead, like I have with managers in the past, your long term views you'll never get there because your short term views are shit. So short term, win the next game. Gateshead. then win the next game. And if you add them all up, you'd be successful. Or get in the playoffs, which I think will be a successful season. But then when you're in the playoffs, you've got a fucking great chance. Sorry about my language. You've got a great chance of winning them. That's how I work. 1 week at a time. Listen, I've got a fantastic family behind me who support me. But balancing that as well, mate, of life and work is something I'm learning at the moment.
And is that, it comes back to almost one of my first questions then, I suppose, and it rounds it off nicely, that it is almost the perfect job at the perfect time for you.
For sure. Location-wise, club-wise, ex-player, new owner, and then we've had, a little bit of success on the field. Fantastic. Couldn't wish to be at a better place at the current time. The hardest thing for us now is to maintain this and go again. Yeah. Because I know if we don't, it all goes like that again. Yeah. And we've seen and we've enjoyed too much of the good stuff now to want to go back there. So we know what we need to do.
Last question, possibly the most important question. I don't know why I've left it till last. When are the red and white halves coming back?
You tell me, baby. Next season.
Put a word in. That's what I'm saying.
We won't be wearing that kit next season.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all.
Okay. Nudge, nudge. All right.
What I will say, this is funny. At the start of the season, when we picked this kit, we knew it would get the feedback it got. Yeah, a load of crap. And I went to the lads. I said, "But no one would care if we have a good season. And we sold more shirts this season." So it just shows you how fickle football is, mate.
Yeah, well, the traffic on the back of the kit launch was ridiculous, wasn't it? And then yeah. Well, I almost thought about putting up a rogue.
Our meeting guy would say, "No, should we change it?" I'm like, "Yes, we're changing it, mate. We're going somewhere else. This would be a one-off."
Well, thank you, Russ, for doing this. Thank you for being the first one. It was only ever going to be the manager that I wanted to get as the first one. So thank you for doing it. I hope it was all right.
Thanks, mate. Enjoyed it.
Good. Hopefully we'll get to speak again during the season if that's all right with you. But yeah, thank you again for giving us a brilliant season so far. But I'm going to date it by saying best luck at Gateshead on Saturday. Yeah, I'm really excited about what's to come. So yeah, thank you. It's brilliant.
Keep the vibes going, baby. All right, then, Nick. Top man, mate.